It has gone unnoticed by many, but there has been a slow surge of high-tech development over the past several years in Southern California. Now, a report out suggests that could accelerate rapidly, bringing new jobs, opportunity, and industry to the region, if the right steps are taken. Zack, Zalon, and Brendon Cassidy are founding members of the LA Mayor's Council on Innovation and Industry. Both are with Wilshire Axon Group. Zack, first to you. Why this council? What was its purpose?
So we've been doing business in Los Angeles for 18 years, innovation-led, entrepreneur-led businesses. And there's always been a perception gap between the way that LA is perceived outside and the way that LA actually is. Never more so than now. And that's gotten very frustrating for us over this period of time that we've been doing internet-led or innovation-led businesses, and we felt like we needed to do something about it. So earlier this year, Brendon and I reached out to 25 like-minded business leaders, innovators, or entrepreneurs, as well as to the mayor's office, directly to Mayor Villaraigosa, to put together a private-public partnership that could really have an impact and could perhaps solve some of these perception problems once and for all.
What did you find?
Well, we found that the perception problems were real, that in a travel and leisure magazine study, for instance, they looked at the number of intelligent people, percentage of intelligent people they thought were in Los Angeles. It ranked near the bottom or at the bottom. And the truth is we have more PhDs in Los Angeles than any other city. And when we look at the challenge about this narrative, telling the truth about Los Angeles, its history of innovation and boundless creativity, is important to help the whole region move forward, to help capital recognize this is a place where it can come and invest, students realize this is a place that they can stay and get involved with businesses.
The signature industry is film and television production. That's not the biggest industry, but it's the signature industry. Does that help or hurt in the narrative?
It's the one that's perceived. What's interesting about the narrative is it encompasses that industry as well. The cinema industry has been incredibly innovative, not just in the scripts and in the performances, but also in the technology that they use to make those films. If you look at, for instance, what James Cameron did with his innovations around 3D technology, facial capture for Avatar. I mean, those are real technical things that are happening right here in Los Angeles.
What did you propose in your report?
So we proposed a number of things, but I should actually step back for 1 minute and just suggest that yes, obviously film industry means a lot to Los Angeles, but there are so many other innovations that we can point to over the previous decades that actually we don't get the kind of credit for that we should. There are so many examples. The first ever internet node was in Los Angeles in 1969, not up in Silicon Valley as many people might think. The whole naming convention of the internet actually came out of here. The Aeron chair, the kind of architecture that we export, the manufacturing that we export. There really is a boundless creativity that is infused into the fabric of everything that we do here in Los Angeles, which includes the cinema industry, but also encompasses so many great innovations and so much great entrepreneurship across the entire landscape of Los Angeles.
But that landscape is spread out, and you hope to tie it together by a light rail system.
So there are a variety of things that we've found so far, and this is a work in progress, right? 25 individual members who have spent a fairly substantial amount of time. They've really given amount of their time, 700 plus hours in working sessions so far since the beginning of the year on behalf of this particular effort. And we found a variety of things around a narrative that we should all be sharing a common language, around the educational institutions that we should be taking advantage of, students that we should be connecting with opportunities so they don't leave when they graduate.
Are they leaving?
They are leaving. So Los Angeles, very surprisingly, actually has more engineers, more computer scientists and engineers being educated at one time than any other city in America. But more than 50% of them leave day one.
To some other city.
To some other city, to what they perceive as being different or better opportunities. And that's just not the case. Here's one example, 25 individual private council members. We did an informal poll of those 25 members and their companies. There are 500 knowledge worker openings today. 500 that need to be filled. And yet we have all these phenomenal students at these great educational institutions across Los Angeles. We're not connecting them well enough.
So you want to tie those companies into UCLA, USC, and the other higher education institutions?
Absolutely. It is definitely one of the things that we need to be doing here in LA.
Yeah. But let's talk about the Expo line, or what you call the Texpo line. How did you get to the point that you envision that as being a tech corridor?
Well, when we looked at what it's going to do, how it's going to connect downtown all the way to Silicon Beach and allow for not just people.
Silicon Beach.
Silicon Beach.
Okay.
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
Yes.
Got it.
But it's going to allow for not just people, but also companies and ideas to travel from one end of the city to another. And the committee that worked on this took a look at the land around that rail line and noticed that the city had over 1 million square foot of real estate that was either underused or available. and found tremendous opportunity to work in partnership with the city to start turning some of that real estate into innovation space, a place where new companies can start, where the universities, UCLA, USC, Caltech, can come together and start building this future of LA in innovation.
We're talking about high tech, its future in Southern California, and some things that, in a recent report, that could stimulate that kind of growth. We'll have a few more questions when News Conference returns.